The library window allows browsing the footprint library and placing footprints through the paste buffer. The last selected footprint is also copied into the paste buffer, and the buffer tool is activated. Placing copies of the selected footprint is as simple as moving the cursor back to the drawing area and clicking at the desired location. The footprint can be rotated with the usual buffer rotation hotkeys: Shift F7, BRR, or BRL. The footprint is placed on the view side. To place a footprint on the other side, just flip the board using the Tab key. The list of available footprints can be large. Browsing through the whole tree hunting for a specific footprint is not practical. Under the tree there is a filter text entry. Entering a part of the footprint name narrows the tree to display only the matching footprints. The filter text doesn't have to be a prefix, it can be any part of the footprint name. It's really a regular expression, so the usual syntax of character sets, dot, asterisk, all will work. The filtering is done in a case-insensitive way. There are parametric footprints that are not a single instance of a static footprint, but can generate any number of a footprint family using the parameters provided. Parameters are passed in parentheses. A GUI parameter editor is also available and can be invoked using the parameter edit icon. The parameter edit dialog is footprint specific, and it has tooltips for the parameters. Editing parameters will modify both the filter text and the preview, plus it places the new footprint in the paste buffer. Having the final parameter list in the filter text is useful for learning the syntax and for copying the specialized footprint into the schematic editor's footprint attribute. Placing a footprint from the library window makes a copy of the subcircuit from the library onto the board. Once placed, this copy becomes independent from the library or the library window. Changing parameters or changing files in the footprint lib will not affect the subcircuits already placed on boards. The easiest way to create a user-specific custom footprint lib is placing footprints in a directory called .pcb-RND/footprint in your home. PCB-RND also automatically uses a directory called footprint placed next to the board file. It is possible to configure PCB-RND to load footprints from a custom path. Our example in this video is a directory called custom-fp in the home directory. Library search paths can be configured in the Preferences dialog, invoked with the hotkey ICP. First, set the role to determine in which config file changes are made. For configuring your user footprint library, the typical choice for role is user, so that this change will affect all PCB-RND sessions run by the same user. Insert a new item at the end of the list. Fill in the path to your custom footprint library. Next time PCB-RND is started, this directory is also mapped for footprints. For the current session, an explicit rescan is needed. It is also possible to get PCB-RND to download footprints directly from the internet, from the cloud, more specifically from the Edacryl project. For this, configure the library path wget at Edacryl the same way, then request a rescan. Since the new path requires network traffic, PCB-RND is not fetching the list of available footprints automatically. For remote libs, the reload button needs to be clicked. Once the list is fetched, the remote lib can be browsed. Footprints are downloaded on demand as they are clicked or referenced into the local cache. For example, there are multiple slightly different SOT23-5 footprints available. The majority of the boards are drawn with a schematic. In this setup, typically all footprints are specified on the schematic, and the schematics or netlist import step will automatically place the subcircuits from the library. This is the same process, using the same library path configuration and parametric footprint syntax as if the user manually selected them in the library window. In this workflow, PCB-RND ensures the subcircuits on the board match the footprints specified in the schematic. Missing subcircuits are created on import, and excess subcircuits, in case they have a valid refdes, are removed to match the schematics. In some rare cases, the designer may choose to place a footprint in PCB-RND directly from the library window without mentioning this on the schematics. If this subcircuit needs to be in the BOM list and XY files, it needs to have a valid refdes. A typical example is a 0 ohm SMD resistor used for routing as jumper on a 1 or 2 layer board. To avoid a netlist import removing this subcircuit, set its No Netlist flag to 1.